we have an apocalypse around the professional football team.
7 on the power play. My God, Dan.
Zaslow is correct when he says Mike McDaniel might be fired during the show today because the Browns are terrible and the games in that sport are close. And you can't have Kim Bokamper outside the locker room saying that's the worst quarterback performance I've ever seen when Cleveland has scored 17 points in exactly 17 points or fewer, exactly 11 straight games. And now they're a juggernaut with their third-round quarterback rookie who doesn't even have to throw the ball correctly. He can just hand it off because the Dolphins can't stop anybody.
You remember when Josh Freeman had that start for the Vikings on Monday Night Football? That's the worst quarterbacking performance I've ever seen.
Kim Bokamper has been protecting football in this market for 50 years. Zaslow, when he says emotionally, that's the worst quarterback performance I've ever seen. You last week are saying Tua is now unlikable. After Chris Cody fell in love with him, gazed into his eyes, and couldn't love more how the quarterback was talking. He sounds so confident. And now everything in leadership is broken. Like it's you. You cannot hang on to anything in leadership because the Flames have swallowed half a season in. They've swallowed everyone that everyone on this team was paid, banked on. Tyreek Hill gone. Waddle's obviously not a number one. Like Achane, they're gonna ruin Achane. He's going to get hurt here because of how they're using him because all they throw is passes to Achane because they've just shriveled up into something that's not even interesting anymore.
Dan, Tua got out in front of a crowd of paying customers and yelled, "Show me the money," after he signed a $200 million deal. The team is like 10-14 since he did that. Their offense sucks. And this week, Tua had an all-time loser week.
Yes.
From the end of last game with that post-game press conference where he talks about leadership needs to be better and pointing the fingers at other guys, and then he comes out and has the game he had, fumbles, pick sixes, interceptions in the end zone, getting benched. It was an all-time loser week.
So let's stay here with the Tua conversation because I think we now know Greer, McDaniel, they're not going to be part of this franchise going forward. So let's not have the redundant conversations we've had about them. You're paying the quarterback a lot of money. He has to figure in the plans somehow, some way, even if those plans are how do we get out from under this contract. But now I think the sample is growing to a point where you realize the answer that we thought he would be, it's not the right answer. Tua's not the guy. And I would say that as bad as his week was under center, this guy over the last 10 days has had a disastrous week, a disastrous time behind the microphone. I have never seen a quarterback throw himself under the bus the way that Tua did. Not only in this clip is he going to highlight how bad his approach is to the game on the field, but he readily admits that he's not being a pro off the field.
Yeah, definitely not happy, not proud of where I'm at with my play, with how I've gone about things this year. I know I got to be a lot better, and I've been better for the Miami Dolphins years past, but this isn't years past. This is this year, right? And just trying to maneuver everything and trying to build a collection of guys to kind of bring along with me, and I got to be able to multitask, if that makes sense. Be able to do that, and while doing that, kind of continue to get the whatever it was last year and the years prior for myself to get going again and get in that flow. Thank you.
All right, first of all, what the hell is he saying?
More rambling stuff.
What do any of those words mean?
No. I know people automatically want to go to the concussion stuff. That's just like a troubling clip because it's rambling nonsense.
What are you talking about?
It doesn't sound like bright.
Okay, McDaniel and Tua, when they get out in front of cameras, and I would not blame them if the intoxicants of the last two seasons, we're the greatest at offense. We've got it figured out. Everybody's going to get money in Miami. They're 9-2. And at the middle of that story is also the brain does keep getting hit and making us worry. Should they give him that money for health reasons? Never mind that there's still the argument, wait a minute, is he Brock Purdy? Is he a product of system? Or is he actually a good quarterback? We've done the architecture of this team. We know the bet that Greer made. We all fell in love with it at that watch party when they were 9-2 and then lost to Vrabel in Tennessee because, oh, look out, Vrabel's got Drake May now. They're going to be running the division for a while. Like Drake May just had a better quarterback percentage than Brady ever had because they found a quarterback there, and a good organization protects that quarterback.
Speaking of rambling.
The Dolphins have 2 ramblers in McDaniel and Tua, and they're in front of the microphones, and we want explanations for the losing, and they have to say something, and they're not good at say nothing. Just get up there and just keep saying nothing again and again. They say it inefficiently. Their offense is efficient. Their words are not.
So, I mean, I guess in a vacuum, you like the accountability from the position, right? But you're also concerned as to, wait, they're paying you a lot of money. What is it about your off-field prep that you don't like? What you know that there are things that you should be doing to be better, but you're not doing it?
And he didn't realize it apparently last week, because last week it was everyone else's fault, not his.
It is a weird thing to bring up out the blue. You could say, hey, we can be better, whatever. But to specifically call out his off-field prep in that way, in that manner, that's the difference, Mike, between accountability and, wait a second, what the hell's happening here? Right? That's the line. It's accountability is like, I need to be better. What the hell's happening here is like, yeah, man, I don't know what I've been doing. What have you been doing? Now I need to know.
The thing that I thought was just happening there, hold on a second.
Stinks.
Okay. All I thought was happening there is, oh, now he's going to crucify himself because he was bad leader last week. Everyone turned on him last week. McDaniel said out loud, this is a distraction. This isn't leadership. So now I'm going to go out there and I'm going to crucify myself after a bad game. He's the first 3-interception quarterback the Dolphins have had in consecutive games since Marino. He's supposed to be maximum accurate. He looked panicked yesterday. Like that. And look, I'd be panicked too if Myles Garrett was chasing me and I didn't have an offensive line. Like, they can't run the ball. They're terrible. They can't stop the run. Every running back in the league will run for 100 yards against them.
I like where you're going. That what we saw from Tua just then is an overcorrection from last week.
Wasn't that obvious?
I don't know. I don't. He confuses me every time he talks.
Yeah,
I don't. And this isn't a concussion thing. I don't want to go there. He's not a super captivating speaker. Like, he doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well,
everybody after a loss like that wants a Tim Tebow, no one's going to try harder than me speech. And this is just more loser talk from a guy. When he speaks, you're like, oh, you're never going to figure it out.
Loser talk.
Yeah, I don't trust you to figure it out.
But okay, and I get that. But you know why he's never going to figure it out? Because they just lost 31-6 to the terrible Cleveland Browns.
That's right. Because he's not a good football player.
But nobody would be under these circumstances.
What are the circumstances? He's got talent. What do you mean?
See,
nobody would be. I see plenty of quarterbacks play well.
Hold on. I have a question. You said he's not a good football player. Then what was 3 years ago?
Oh, he's not that guy anymore.
He's not that guy.
He's not that guy anymore.
Because
3 years ago, but 3 years, guys, 3 years ago, they were the number 1 offense and passing offense in the league. Mm-hmm.
It's not always concussions. It's not. Carson Wentz got some injuries, but he just the league figured you out. Like, there's plenty of guys that get to that second contract. League figures you out.
Like, I don't think that I've been a Tua guy since day one before this season. Like, the Indianapolis game that opened this year, to me, I fingered as the moment that I think all of us realized this is not the guy. But nonetheless, I've been a Tua guy every season going up to this year. And I don't think that I was wrong about him in the past. That guy was a good quarterback. He's not the guy because for whatever reason, he's regressed. This quarterback is washed.
It's
not your fault.
Dan, you love this.
He was right in the moment.
This is the Stephen A. Smith.
What Zaz is doing right now is...
I was right.
I feel
right twice.
I feel like I'm concussed by the last 3 years of our Tua coverage that includes Mike being able to diagnose the gradation of degrees in the brain chemistry between why Wentz can do it and Tua can't. Okay, I'm not scientist enough to know whether Tua is more brain injured than everyone else in the league. The quarterback that presently plays for the Miami Dolphins resembles in no way the quarterback that was the number 1 passer in that sport 3 years ago.
It's unfair to just because I was able to come up with Wentz's name. Kyler Murray looked a lot different his rookie season. The league figures some guys out. Hell, Daniel Jones has come out the other side. He had to adjust to it. In fact, Baker Mayfield, too. The league is full of guys that at certain points were like, this guy's done as a starting quarterback. He can probably pull himself out of it, but there's a lot of guys that end up being Blake Bortles that don't.
But doesn't that prove my point that it's like, I don't know if we can say he's not a good football player. He is a good football player. Rather, the surrounding context of what he's playing under, right? Is it him or is it Mike McDaniel, who we haven't mentioned yet, and his post-game presser, because he sounds like he's had concussions.
I want to apologize to Brian Flores.
Why?
I'm sorry.
Why?
You were right about Tua. You see, you're doing what he said about Tua a couple years ago. He was right.
No, I don't agree with that. People want to take that track that Flores was right about Tua. You're not right about Tua if the team invests a number 5 overall pick in the quarterback, whoever it is, and you don't even give him a chance. That's where Flores was wrong. You got to at least give him a chance. So Flores was not right. No, I don't agree with that.
Well, let's bring it back to Mike McDaniel, because this is like the third straight week we're all sitting by our phones waiting for the Schefter notification that probably won't come.
Not
You
happening.
think it'll be Schefter? Yeah.
It might be.
Why don't-
Rappaport, plus 500.
Why don't you let it play out, guys? It's bad right now. What do you want? You want him to go? You want him to win 3 in a row? No. At this point, let's lose. Let him.
Oh, you
sit.
don't want any changes?
No. Let's it. This season's done. Let him stay.
Chris.
Let's be as bad as we can be.
Chris, but here's the fear. What if they win 3 in a row with him as coach?
I don't
He's
know.
gone regardless.
Does this sound like a guy? Let's play the video. Does this sound like a guy that is going to rattle off a win streak?
There's a lot of guys that will have an important work week because we're not. I mean, if you are negatively affecting the football team routinely, I don't have a choice but to, assess a different player, and I have to coach a lot better as well. So we're going to find out who and what we're made of.
That's him saying he's going to bench Tua, right?
That anyone's benchable. I did the optics of this from Mike McDaniel swaggering on the Heat sideline in Miami Vice fashion gear to yesterday looking like a wet rat, overwhelmed, like just optically overwhelmed, looking at a play sheet that had no answers.
Look at that face.
But you guys saw what I'm talking about, right? The optics of he's the one coach in the league yesterday who is being beaten down by the weather and looks like he is, a wet mop of defeat, looking at a soaked play card that has no answers because he's losing 31-6. All the games in that league are close. Did you see what the Broncos and Giants did? Like, all the games in that league are close. Yesterday's 1 p.m. games, they say going into the witching hour, and only 2-score games here, and everyone's surprised by it. And then it becomes, there are 1-score games here. The Dolphins would have no answers. Their coach is sopping wet on the sidelines. Their quarterback has to come out afterward and just sort of say things because he's the leader so he doesn't make another fire worse than the last fire, because neither one of these two guys figured out how to do a press conference that was just give them the cliches. Just because when losing comes, you're not going to be able to lead because this will bury everyone.
Isn't it hilarious that we're basically asking for Dan Campbell? Like, that's all. Just say some cliches and act tough in this moment.
He was here. We ran him out of town.
Because he was 2 cliches.
He won 4 games, and he became an interim coach who could lead somebody. And then that's what happened. We mocked Man Campbell. We always get to be right on these. Zasloh's sitting here as if he's been right. We've been arguing about the Tua assessment for 3 years the way that we argued about the Tannehill assessment for 7 years. No one's been right. They haven't had a quarterback. Like, no one here in this town who has thought in the last 25 years that have had a quarterback, they've not had a quarterback. Not Jay Cutler, not Cleo Lemon, not Jay Fiedler. It's been 20 years of, no, they don't have the primetime guy. That was Marino. They don't get to have that anymore. And then they don't win a playoff game for 25 years.
That 1 year of Pennington was good. He was good. Pennington was good.